Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 69 of the Sphere of Power. Yeah, we're getting up there, that's for sure. This episode is called Secrets Not Hidden. Of course, I attempt to name the episodes based on what I think the group is going to wind up doing. They always throw me for a loop. Hopefully, they throw everyone else for a loop. So it may or may not apply, but that is in store for the future. We'll see how much. Anyway, as midnight passes in the waning days of Eliant, much has transpired for the prophesized ones over the last several weeks. The unexpected arrival in these desert lands, likely thousands of miles from your home, now seems trivial compared to the powers that have been unleashed, by your own hands, no less. Calatarius has been freed, allowing him to wreak his vengeance across the land, leaving a swath of destruction in every region, camp, and sanctuary he has come across. Whether the oasis of the White Palm remains unscathed is unknown, but at least it was still standing 5 days ago. The river Athos has been restored to these forsaken lands. The Princess Shadala and the Guildmaster of the Sand Voyagers have been safely rescued and returned to their people. And now the Jinn Vizier Arildoth has been released from his stasis to serve his purpose and fend off Calatarius, while the party seeks out Martek's legendary sphere of power. Though the camels are safe, the recent collapse of the desert floor and the emergence of the mighty Jinn in his full glory and wrath have spooked all of them quite severely. Though still tethered within the confines of Redreth's magical sphere, they have trampled and absolutely trashed any contents that had been left behind. Though somewhat calmed by the party's return, it's obvious they will need some placating before moving on. Before his hasty departure to face off with the Ifrit, Arildoth stated that the party must now proceed to the cursed city to fulfill their destiny. But alas, only 4 of the 5 star gems that supposedly are needed to unlock Martek's citadel have been located. And where exactly this cursed city could be found was not the least of the questions on their mind. All the Jinn indicated was somewhere to the north, however much help that provided in this vast expanse of desolation. The only obvious options at this point are to either follow the river back to the oasis, follow its restored course as it heads to the northeast, or wander aimlessly across the featureless sand dunes that is the Desert of Desolation. All right, so I figured the first question that we have, let me go ahead and share the time and date because it is not too long after midnight, which means it's still dark. And as you guys might recall, this part of the desert is particularly onerous and oppressive. So the choice is I know you guys need some healing, but are you going to take some healing now and wait it out until the next night? Because travel during the day is probably going to be next to impossible. Or are you going to try to take advantage of the few hours of darkness you have and then set camp? Crickets? Crickets, I hear?
I
uh,
like talking to myself. No, it was. I'm sure it's probably going to be dependent on the worst of us, and I forget who is the most injured that lost a lot of their hit points.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe that would be
Peg.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Varric is down from other hits, but yeah, Vague
Yeah.
has.
So I would at least suggest that our 2 tanks take enough to triage before traveling, if we're not that much of in a hurry.
Well, Dan, at least you're here now to help make that decision.
yeah, I was. I think that what we had talked about was Jim putting up the. I was sorry, I was at the register, so I only got half of what we were saying. But Jim was talking about putting up the tent and getting a rest in. Are we after that point, or are we considering that point now?
We're considering that point now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that was what they had, or what we had talked about last time was finding a spot to put up the hut because a couple of us were in somewhat rough shape.
The hut is still up. That's where the camels were contained before you guys went in. Unfortunately, it was not in the portion of ground that collapsed when the Jinn emerged.
Sweet.
But they did need to be calmed down. They kind of trampled everything inside the hut. And yeah, if you're going to get a full 8-hour rest, Jim is probably going to have to renew the hut. But the big question is that if you do that now, you're going to be waiting about 18 hours before you can move on again. Or you can take advantage of a few hours of night and then set the hut up.
All right. Well, brother, you think we got enough hitch points, blah, blah, blah. You feeling pretty good to move on? Is it? Oh, yeah. I think I could do it. Yeah. Okay. The brothers say we move on.
All right, then.
The rough boys.
Yeah, I mean, my concern was for you two guys. So as long as you're cool with it, then let's sally forth.
And Ms. and Alex, you're all in agreement?
In wiggle form with my goggles and scarf flapping in the wind on Alex's shoulder, I give her the thumbs up.
Well, and Varric, we can heal up. It's Haig that's the one he's screwed until he can talk to somebody to get him back up to par, right?
Yeah, I'm down some permanent hit points to a long rest and a couple of smacks in, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're down. Let's see, 20. Looks like you're at 27 hit points right now.
Yeah, about a third of my hit points.
Yeah. So you could be in better shape for sure. All right, so let's see. Story or destination. This. There we go. A little of the old little road. Ooh, what a way to start. All right. All right, so you guys start heading north through the desert while it's still dark out. Let's see, we'll zoom in on here. So we're on the overland map now. You are departing the area where you found the city of Phoenix or in the lands of Carthag. So kind of used interchangeably. All right, so you're going to get up to about here. We're going to advance the clock a little bit.
Which direction are we heading?
That's a good question. Going to go directly north or more to the northeast?
We're going that way.
I mean, where is our next?
All right. Well, to restate part of the intro.
The intro, yeah.
Before his hasty departure to face off with the Ifrit, Arodoth stated that the party must now proceed to the cursed city to fulfill their destiny. But alas, only 4 of the 5 star gems that supposedly are needed to unlock Martek's citadel have been located. And where exactly this cursed city could be found was not the least of the questions on their mind. All the Jinn indicated was somewhere to the north, however much help that provided in this vast expanse of desolation. The only obvious options at this point are to either follow the river back to the oasis, follow its restored course as it heads to the northeast, or wander aimlessly across the featureless sand dunes.
We have one question we can ask the genie in the lamp. I think Matt and I were talking about that last time. We could use our question to ask where the location of the last gem is. So we know that the Jinn said we have to go to the north to the cursed city for possible final confrontation, or we can ask where the last star gem is to get that, and then have a direction of where we need to go for the final confrontation.
That sounds like that may not be a bad idea.
Yeah, sounds brilliant.
And let's just be clear. We've been talking about 2 genies. One Ereldoth, the one that you released last session. And then
Right.
the other one that you were just talking about now, that was found in a bottle inside a library with a fake wall. The one that's from that bottle, he is a genie, but he is of a substantially lower stature and power than Ereldoth.
Right.
The one in the bottle can barely take a solid form. And even when he does, he still is kind of misty. His legs aren't even formed, and he's obviously still attached to his bottle. Ereldoth, when he came out, could have been the size of a mountain, completely solid. Even moving his hand through the air shook the earth. So much different stature of genie between the two of them, just so you know. So
We've got pecking order. We've got genie, Jinn, and Ifrit. Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, actually, that works on an ascending scale.
See what you did there.
And just to also clarify, both Kalatarius and Ereldoth, respectively, are royal members of their respective courts. Kalatarius is a pasha of the Fire Sultan, and Ereldoth is a grand vizier to I forget his name, but basically the jinn that the air elemental that is responsible for all the jinn.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I'm absolutely convinced that Kaoli will remember this, but I am trying to remember what clues we have on where to find the 5th star gem.
Which may be a moot point to save. I mean, if you were thinking of saving our question, I think we figured out that we can't bring that genie from the city we're in. I think he has to stay within a certain perimeter. So it almost kind of makes sense to use our question before we leave, whether it's the question of where the star gem is or not. But yeah, that's something we should discuss.
Good memory, Dan.
Thanks.
Giving you an inspiration point for recalling that.
Sweet.
I mean, just not wasting the resource should be rewarded enough, but hey, a little extra incentive doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
So, are you and your brother going to whip him on out?
Hey now.
First, we're going to check to see if my headset's working. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Sweet.
I
don't know if we'll, I don't know if we'll pull him out until we're ready to deliver a question. I don't know if he can hear inside the bottle, and I also don't know if he's any part of the trickery of that one room. So if he has any extra information that he would use to throw us off, I would keep him from having that information.
That is a good point. All right. So, well, I guess that opens the floor for party discussion.
There's lots of questions we could still ask. Whether this is the most important question, I guess, is what my thoughts are. I mean, I think it's a good question to ask, but I am obviously not the know-all, be-all of the group.
Right.
What is your favorite color?
Yeah. What side of town are you from?
I don't know why I'm having a completely different feeling here. I'm thinking of Tim from Monty Python.
What's that? I can't remember.
The Holy Grail. Tim is the wizard.
I've actually only seen it once.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to admit, it's been a long time for me.
Oh, Tim Enchanter, that's his full name.
Yes.
Isn't he kind of like, well, everything in the movie slapstick, but isn't he kind of slapstick mage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could call him that.
Oh, I'm Tim.
Some that call me Tim.
All right. So, any other
Does anybody-
nominations or questions?
Yeah. Does anybody have a pertinent question that they can think of that they are interested in?
Not that I can think of. Not that it would be relevant to what we're dealing with. I think we're pretty much on point about asking him. Just making sure that we phrase it, because I think you got a point that he may be, how he answers may be dependent on how we ask.
Right. And I don't think he was part of the joke room. I think he was, if I recollect correctly, he was genuine. He said we could ask a question, but only one.
Yeah, which would make sense. I mean, if he was being deceptive, it would have been very apparent that he was being deceptive.
Right.
Yeah, they're usually not very tolerant.
So I think it's just the one question, but I don't know
Patient,
if
but not
anybody has
tolerant.
right. I just don't know if anybody has any other questions that they think would be pertinent that we should, put on the table for consideration.
Well,
Because
and
a
if
lot
not-
of, when we first met him, my thoughts were, direction to end game, a little bit of pointing in the correct direction for end game would be best, but we kind of have our direction set out for us at this point. So we don't
True.
need to waste on that question. And without any obvious knowledge, like Alex, I don't know if you're seeing anything, Alex, but without any direct knowledge of where the last thing we're missing is, I wouldn't put it past this old school as a player. I wouldn't put it past this old school module to allow you to reach the end without all the star gems in hand.
True.
So I'm kind of like,
as I recall, 3, it was said that 3 would be needed to get us where we were going, but there were 5, and having all 5 would be best.
yeah, I think now that you're saying that, I think I recall that as well, that we don't necessarily need all of them, but having all of them would be the best
it would be a good idea if we could.
Right. Like maybe 3 will put him back into captivity for another 1,000 years or whatever, but 5 will actually vanquish him. I don't know.
Or something like that.
If I'm reading the room, Alex, I think it sounds like everybody else is on board with asking about the last star, but you were looking to see if we could kind of find that information on our own and save the question. Does that sound right?
Well, we've got 2 things that we need to determine. Where is the last star gem so we can go get it, and where is this cursed city so that we can have the final confrontation?
My gut says that we have enough information to find the city. I don't have any other inclination from this module that it, doesn't at least vaguely point us in the direction we need to go. I know we don't know the exact route, but I don't think the writers would have, be purposely trying to send us off somewhere weird.
Well, don't forget, we already saw that other journey fly off in a direction to confront the other genie, so that probably in
Good
direction
point.
of the cursed city.
Good point. And how do
Yeah,
we
I
keep
would-
that? I mean, if we're going to go towards another, obviously, unless we have somebody who's a very good astrological cartographer, if we have to go in another direction first before we go the direction to the north, you know, we're going to have even more of a vague idea of which direction we're going. But again, I don't think they're going to put us in a way where we can't find the end, you know?
Yeah, if this or that, I would say ask him about the location of the last star gem.
Yeah.
And then okay. So we're in agreement then?
We
I
will give
would
you a
say
thumbs
so,
up.
yes. Weasel gives a thumbs up.
I'm just staring at our overland map and at the two map fragments that we have. I'm trying to figure out which places we visited.
Well, we've only drawn where we visited, haven't we?
Which places on the map have we visited?
Keith, is
I
that
think-
correct?
What's visible on the overland map does represent areas that you've explored.
Right, and I'm just trying to line that up with the places on the map.
On the player maps that you found.
Yeah, the two scroll fragments.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'm popping the genie out, Alex. If you see anything that jumps out at you, give me a wait.
No,
Varric is going to-
I think my brain is just fixated on something and not processing much else right now. I don't know why.
Well, speak now or forever hold your peace.
No, get the lamp out and
whip
we'll
it
ask
out.
him. We'll ask him how to. We should probably know exactly the wording that we want to use to ask our question before we get him out, though.
Someone knows how to deal with a genie.
Right?
We should probably write down our exact wording before we get the genie out to ask, because otherwise.
Would you be willing to volunteer? Because I am currently sweeping my garage floor because the dog's gotten the
I will
garbage.
do the writing down if other people will help me come up with the exact words.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I would consider saying, what are saying something to the effect of, we have this gem, this gem, this gem, this gem. What are the precise directions to the location of the last?
Okay, where is my list? I think
I'll be muting while I vacuum.
That probably is a good call.
There's cottonwood all over my
Okay.
garage.
Keith.
Yes.
I have in my inventory, I have 3 items that are listed as star of such and such. And then I've got something in here labeled enormous clear crystal.
Okay, that one probably needs to be exposed, and I think that's.
I cannot hear you if you're talking. I think I hear you
Sorry,
talking, but I
was
cannot hear you.
hiccuping as I was trying to say something, and I inhaled instead of exhaled. So.
That could be dangerous.
Okay.
No kidding. All right, let me check your inventory. That does sound like something I need to expose. Let's see.
So I'm just trying to figure out I mean, enormous clear crystal has absolutely no description or any of its other skills, just the name, which makes me think it's the 4th star gem.
The star of Agapolar, Compolar, Mopolar. I'm sure what it's going to appear as inside, to me, inside your all right, what are the 3 that you have that you see that are named? Oh, there we go. Enormous clear crystal.
It is there it is. Excellent. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Another
There's
2?
2 of the same name. Yeah, hold on. I will fix that. Give me a moment.
Okay.
And you know what? Ooh. Dun, 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 dun. Looks like I made a boo-boo somewhere. Let's see, what do I got there? Ruh-roh. All right, obviously you don't have 2 of those. Let's go back and double check this. I could have swore I added the 4th one. I know I haven't added the 5th one yet. Here we are. Okay, so you do have Agapolar, Conpolar, and Mopolar. Mopolar, fist-sized opal that you found in the tomb of Amun-Ra, which released the river Athos back to its original course. The star of Agapolar, a huge sapphire of midnight black that you found in the ruins of Pazar. There is the star of there's Conpolar. Okay, the star of Conpolar, enormous clear crystal. Okay, so that's right. It's thought to be buried near the white palm. So you found that one in the temple.
The
of
obelisk.
Set, beneath the temple of Set. Shapalar. That's the large ruby. Okay, so let's check this for a second. Okay, Mopolar is the first one, the fist-sized opal. Conpolar. Yeah, that one actually says it was found in the Oasis. Agapolar. Huge sapphire of midnight black. Okay, so apparently Conpolar. Oh, what do you know? Shapalar is also huge black gem. Sapphire. Okay, so Shah Pilar is a large faceted ruby that I gotta create the record for. All right, so I gotta remember to get these done. All right, so that was the one that you found in the crypt of Badr al-Mozak.
Yep.
So you have those four of the five. Agapilar, Compilar, Mopilar, and Shapilar.
Okay, and do we know the name of the last one?
I think someone did list the names to you at one point. I'm trying to remember where.
Be wager and guess that it's something Pilar.
Well, yeah.
Sake of keeping this going. To card up. Beckish definitely was not around at the time I do recall that. Haig remembers it as sure I'm not mixing it up again. So they're confusing names. Yep, there we go. It is in chat.
Aha. Part another Pilar.
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed? Okay, so the exact wording of our question. Um, let me draft a question and post it in chat and see what people think.
I can tell you what the weasel thinks. He's snoring in your pocket at the moment.
This is just a draft of the question that Alex has. We will see what everybody else thinks. I don't know if it's a very good draft, but it is a start.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward.
The weasel gives you a sleepy thumbs up from the pocket.
Silly weasel. Silly weasel, anyway.
Honestly, the brothers don't care how the question's asked. They just want to move forward.
Yeah.
Would you like to ask the question? Oh. Fekish, you want to take charge?
Yeah, go for it. Ask him the question.
Well,
I
you gotta
can't
call
ask the
him out.
question. I'm sweeping.
You gotta call him out first, don't you?
Well, all right, yeah. Varric rubs at his pocket gently where the pocket area where the thing is hanging from his waist, I think.
That's not suggestive at all. What is the parental rating of this game again?
Well, for YouTube purposes, it's supposed to be family friendly, but we all know better.
That's right.
Family friendly as Vox Machina is.
Yeah. It's all theater of the mind, so it depends on your imagination level.
And your personal inclinations.
Very much so.
Uh-huh. All right. So Haig whips out the lamp, starts rubbing it furiously. Oh, sorry, context. Starts rubbing the oil lamp, and a wisp of blue smoke begins to emerge, slowly gets thicker, and as expected, your genie friend, El Tarifa, appears. Oh, it feels so good, my friends. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and you've released Ereldoth. Has he gone to take on Calatarius? Is the battle on?
Yes, or about to be.
Oh, absolutely wonderful, wonderful. You must be the prophesized ones. Ah, so what now?
Well, that brings us to our question that we were able to ask of you.
Oh, what can I help you with? I did promise to help you with one task or question, so please let me know what it is.
Where do we go, and how do we retrieve the star of Mollis Pilar?
Well, technically, that would be two questions. But I can see that you're used to dealing with my brethren, and you'll be happy to know that I am not subject to the same bounds and constraints of those silly oath takers. Melos Pilar, huh? That's one of Martek's star gems, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Melos Pilar. Melos Pilar is in the Temple of Ra, which can be found in the cursed city of Medinat Muskawun.
Well, write down the name of the city, quick.
Kaeli is taking notes. Alex is slightly distracted, but Kaeli is taking notes.
All right.
And Haig is ticked that we're going in the same place and wasted our question.
Yes. At which point
Damn
the
it!
genie is thumbing his nose at us and going, "See you later, suckers."
But
well.
I will give you one additional hint as well.
Excellent.
Since you did ask how. You shouldn't have, but it's okay. It's okay. Be sure to visit all of the gods while you are there in Medinat. They all will have gifts for you that will help you find the citadel.
Sweet.
That's good to know.
Do not visit Ra until you have paid your homage to all of the gods that are there in the cursed city of stone.
Nice.
Now,
All of
I
them
have
Ra
a lot
laughs.
of cleanup to do. You've left quite a mess, but I assure you, I am grateful. I am very grateful. And with
And we
that,
are of your assistance.
he kind of fades out into etherealness, and this time the lamp fades out with him.
All right. Fair enough.
So make note, visit all the gods, but Ra last.
So not totally wasted.
No.
All the gods and Ra last. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, look at it this way. We not only do we have confirmation our direction, we had a little bit more information than we didn't have to begin with.
That usually makes it worthwhile.
Yes.
Okay. Come on,
Should have
garbage
asked
bag,
him
get
what
out
happened
there.
to that little dude's spoon.
That's true.
He was like the gnome
That's
Prit
crucial
in the
information right there.
Dragonlance stuff too.
Yes.
I liked Prit. All right, so we're heading on out now that you've made adequate use of the lamp. Brothers said that they were good to travel a little bit.
So we're going to travel up until the point where we need to bed down for the day and then keep going.
Stop till the
Good
sun
idea.
comes out.
Or
Yeah.
circumstances dictate otherwise.
Right. Sally forth. North, Miss Tessbucker.
All right, so returning back to the shared map. Try in the right mode. So, which direction are you heading? How are you going to find the cursed city?
Northish.
Northish.
Okay.
Is there any? Did the other Jin leave any chemtrails as he took off?
Oh, you mean which direction? Eraldoth or El Tarifa? El Tarifa is the little one you just talked to. Eraldoth is the one that's believes he can kick Kalatarius's ass.
Yeah, he's
That
the one
one.
after Kalatarius. He the one who took off towards the cursed city, right?
Do you know that's where he went to?
No. That would be an
He
assumption.
told you to go to the cursed city. You
True.
don't necessarily know that's the direction that he went to.
So
And if I remember correctly, I did tell you that he headed, well, no, you wouldn't have seen him because he emerged from the ground. The horses or the camels would have noticed which direction he went, but you guys were all underground, so you wouldn't really have been able to tell.
Druid.
Talk to the camel. Or better yet,
Druid, don't talk to animals. Damn it.
our
That's what I was
druid
going to
is a
say.
weasel.
I was going to say Druid. Oh wait.
I just slowly poke my head out of Alec's pocket and just slowly shake my head and then just go back down in the pocket again.
Were you looking for me?
And we have
I
no
forgot I was
way.
muted.
We have no way to White Palm or the flying dudes.
Not really. Okay, so I've been looking at these at the scroll maps and comparing them to the overland maps, and I think I have figured out. We have been to Pazar, we have been to Turbicare, we have been to Akar, we've been to the crypt, we've been to the sacred pool. We have not been to the mountain range that at the moment my brain is refusing to tell me what the name of it is. And I don't think we've been to Mendicat.
Mendicat sounds like Mednat that he just told us to go to. Right?
Yeah.
Or was it
Yeah.
Cursed City of Mednat and Saskatoon? Saskatoon?
Muscaloon.
Saskatoon for anybody who's seen
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, I'm having trouble reading the. I haven't bothered to zoom in on that to read the letters.
Land of the Hose Teasers.
Oh, you see, I just added something to chat.
Yeah. So that's probably the cursed city that they're talking that has been referenced. So that's probably where we need to head next.
Holy crud.
Now,
Smash that iPad.
Paoli's recommendation is going to be that we follow the River Apis. Because while the scale is inconsistent on the scroll maps, the basic geography of the scroll maps is still accurate to today's landscape. We could theoretically just set off across the desert, and eventually we'd hit the city.
I don't see anything in chat.
Game chat.
Instagram's chat.
Oh,
Not
that's why I
Discord.
don't see anything. I'm not in yet.
Oh,
So
okay,
theoretically, we could just set off
Starting
across
now.
the desert and find
I will-
Medinat. But we're guaranteed to find it if we follow the river, which will be a longer route, but at least we'll find it.
Okay, that's right.
So that's Paoli's recommendation of where we head next is we follow the river to Medinat.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Sorry. Ooh.
All right. So are you off to see the wizard?
I think we're off to see the wizard, so we're gonna journey.
We're following the
Um,
Rivery Road.
Yeah, we're gonna journey back to the river and then follow it in the direction we have not yet followed it, so that we can locate where we're told we need to be.
I'm presuming you're going to head more in this direction then, right?
Yeah.
Opposed to up here.
No, northeast
Okay.
is fine.
Go up there.
And Keith, compared to everyone else, you're really quiet, even when you're like talking directly into your mic. I'm not quite sure why.
Even like this?
Better.
Oh, that's much better. That's much better.
No,
You haven't done that a whole lot.
It really wants me to stick the damn thing down my throat lately, I swear.
Again, family-friendly broadcast.
Wow.
It's not our problem if we're talking
I
about
wasn't even going there that time.
malfunctioning and I'm just trying to make sure that I can hear everybody without having to fuss with my volume control.
All right, how's that? Does that help at all?
Much better.
It's
That
pretty
is
good.
much better.
Sound beautiful.
All right, hopefully I should. Yep. All right, all filters are off, so forgiveness if
Hopefully
you hear
that-
any spittle or spit. All right. So let's see, move up that direction. Interesting. Okay. So you make it up to the river. Actually, you make it to the river right around dawn. So that works out actually kind of nicely. And by this point, yeah, the river Athos is pretty much extended past this point. The riverbed is full with water. Yeah, you can't really tell how long the water has been at this point, but there obviously is river to follow at this point. But it is also, so we're going to bring you right up to about here by the time dawn arrives, and it starts getting too hot. So during the night, as you're coming up to the river, though, you notice something rather interesting. Actually, let me double check something. There. All right. So as you are traveling to the northeast in the in the night, during the night, you notice to the south. Well, actually, before you even notice anything specifically, you all feel a slight rumble in the ground, kind of like an earthquake, but not definitely not as big. And it's kind of like in punctuated bursts, so it's like boom, 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 rather than a slow rolling or a build and a collapse. And some of you are actually astute enough to kind of look over your left shoulder and to your southwest. You see flashes of red and blue dotting the horizon. And for what it's worth, the sounds seem to match up with the flashes of light, but not for a good 20-30 seconds.
Somebody must have been speeding.
Hey guys, I'm
Crickets.
here, but I'm audio only for about an hour until I get home.
Not a problem. Well, just so you know, quick update. They opened up the genie bottle. You guys asked them a question about where to find the last star gem, and you guys are heading towards the cursed city of stone.
Awesome.
And I was just describing as you're heading northeast to meet up with the river that you guys are noticing flashes of blue and red light in the distance over your left shoulder to the southwest, with corresponding rumbles in the ground that are a good 20 to 30 second delayed from the light flashes that you observe. But it is now dawn. The brothers decided to forsake resting right away so that you guys could get some more travel time in before the heat of the desert piped in. So you guys have now moved up along the desert floor. You're at the river Athos. You're at the location on the map. Redreth, I presume Redreth is going to set up his hut again.
Yep, we'll set up the bubble.
And with that, we will. All right, so you guys are good to set up camp and do whatever else you want, your healing, etc. It's a little bit early, but yeah, let's take our 10-minute break or 15-minute break now. We'll meet back here at 25 after the hour. That sound good?
Cool.
And you guys figure out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, go ahead and do any of your heals, any of your spell casts that you want to before when I come back, I will trigger the long rest. And at which point Egg
Okay.
should be hopefully back up to full health, or at least we'll remove all of his debilitations. All right, going on pause. See you in about 13 minutes.